So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Jelly Jabbing. And I am here with Siew Heng Boon in Sydney, Australia, from Jelly Alchemy. So today we're going to do something really different. We are going to be calling it just Coffee Break with Siew Heng. We have a lot of interesting questions since we've started the YouTube channel. So we've actually listed all these questions down, and then some interesting ones. The first question is this: a lot of people have been asking what the difference is between agar-agar jelly powder, or you would call seaweed jelly powder, right?
Yes.
And gelatin.
Well, agar-agar and seaweed jelly powder, they are both, they both come from seaweed, so it is vegetarian friendly, whereas gelatin actually comes from animals. So for anyone that that are vegan or vegetarian, so agar-agar and seaweed jelly powder would be perfect. But between agar-agar and seaweed jelly powder, there is a difference as well, because they both are extracted from different types of seaweed. Agar-agar being from Gelidium and Gracilaria, and seaweed jelly powder is from Chondrus crispus. So they both have very different textures. Very scientific there. Very scientific.
Hell, I have no idea what you're talking about. I do realize that some of the jelly artists, they actually still use agar-agar to do 3D jelly art.
Yes, I believe I've seen some people using that. But from my experience though, agar-agar it's very brittle, so it does break quite easily. Hence, I don't actually recommend that to my students. Whereas seaweed jelly powder, it's a lot more durable. There are a handful of people using gelatin, but I suppose because Singapore being a very hot country is not as suitable for gelatin, because gelatin melts at a much lower temperature as compared to seaweed jelly. So it is not so conducive.
Question number 2 from one of our viewers. She asks, what size of syringe do you use for your jelly art and why?
Personally, I use a 20 ml syringe. Although, for certain beginners, it might be easier if you use the 10 mils, but I do actually train my students to use the 20 mils simply because it can fill up more jelly inside, and it just saves you time from, syringing one petal and then, sucking up extra jelly and then syringing again. It just takes too long.
Follow-up question to that on syringes again, but this time on the gauge of the needles. Can you tell our viewers what would you recommend for beginners?
Well, in the market, you can actually find a large range of hypodermic needle sizes. Okay, but for beginners, I would think that 18G and 19G is very suitable. If you go to a higher number, it really means that it's a lot finer, and perhaps I think it's too difficult for beginners to use a much higher number gauge. Yeah,
I can tell you honestly, anything above 19 is a nightmare for me, and oh my goodness, you will get your arms, your hands, your fingers, your thumbs. And why?
I normally syringe like that, where the plunger is using my thumb. That's what I'm used to. But it doesn't really matter how you hold it, because whatever that people are used to.
Which is the easiest flower? Okay, the easiest flower to create.
Which is the easiest? In that case, I think perhaps the peony, because I teach that in my beginners class, and everyone manages that. So I normally teach the peony, carnation, and daisy.
Okay.
And most people manage that.
Should a jelly artist use a transparent mold or a non-transparent mold, and why?
I have to be honest, when I first started, I actually used a non-transparent bottom mold. I started with that. But as the transparent bottom mold started to become available, I switched over to that. And then I realized, I can actually perfect my art a lot more because I was able to see, I was able to see what I was doing and to actually correct mistakes that I've made.
Right.
Or
which is
modify.
Not, which is not often that
not,
you make
not,
that.
not really. I do, but then, if I find that something is wrong, at least I can fix it on the spot.
Let's share with our viewers. Tell me, you're not new in this. You have been doing this for how long?
Almost 5 years.
Okay, almost 5 years. So I believe in
Yep.
the beginning part of your jelly journey, I'm sure many a times, the syringe has exploded on you. Does it still happen?
Yes, it does. Goes, then it's everywhere.
Okay. You've done so many masterpieces. You've done, I've seen your dragon. I love your jade dragon.
That took so long.
Yeah, the jade dragon was one of the pieces I truly loved. You've done the little bunny, so fluffy and cute, along with that, all the other pieces. But my question is this: how do you get your inspiration when you do one of these masterpieces?
Well, usually I browse a lot, on the internet to find ideas, inspiration, as sometimes when I go out, I walk, around the shops and then I see something, it just gives me lots of ideas of how I like to place, the flowers. But most of the time though, it's all based on instinct.
Then you have the other techniques. Now you develop, like you've created JA art frames right now, the interesting ones like Crescent Moon, the Moroccan Star, the Dynasty, the Lucky Dynasty, and all these other frames. Very interesting enough. Can you tell our viewers, like, all these ideas, like, you bring it out to the jelly world?
Well, I have to say, this is actually a teamwork, between myself and the rest of my team members, including you, of course. So we come together, we see, patterns and stuff that we would like, we come together and then we decide on which ones to get it made.
Mm-hmm.
So once we agree on a design, and then we have a designer to actually draw it up for us and then manufacture it.
Tell us a little bit more about Jelly Alchemy powder.
Okay, so pretty much it started about 2 years ago. I had a very good friend who's a passionate food scientist.
Right.
So I spoke to her about having a seaweed jelly powder that is very clear yet with very little synersis. Okay, because that were the main issues that I was having. She taught me everything I needed to know about seaweed jelly.
Right.
Okay, she has done a lot of research and she's passed on a lot of knowledge to me. So then I went, did my own research as well to find a manufacturer that could manufacture according to the specs that I would like. And after half a year, I think, to find the right manufacturer.
Wow.
But from finding the right manufacturer to manufacturing, it took another 1 year, and it was during COVID as well. So that's why everything took much longer.
Yeah. Is Jelly Alchemy powder halal certified, or is it halal?
Yes, it is. The ingredients are halal certified. And also the packaging company that we've employed to package our products has a certification, that they only package halal items. For Jelly Alchemy to have our very own halal logo, it does take a very long time. The process to actually apply for it is very, should I say, extremely tedious. For all the viewers out there, I hope you enjoyed it too. If you like what you saw today, can you please subscribe, like this video, and turn on the notification bell.
Thank you very much, Siew Heng, for joining me in the session. And I guess we'll just have to say goodbye. And again, our keyword, happy
jelly.
That's right. Happy jellying, everybody. Bye bye.